So let's get up onto the mat. Lovely, and we'll start with our sun salutation. Oh, just having a look at the camera angle there. It's not very good. Let me lift it up a little tiny bit. So you can see all of me, that's better. All right, so we're on tiptoes and heels. As always, it's a really nice routine. The body gets used to something like this as a signal that something is changing, that we're not doing the ordinary thing as we always do. We're actually managing to create something new for this moment in the body. And we're getting into that rhythm. Finding the tip of the arch is a really good exercise. So where does the arch end? Where does the arch end? Where does the arch end? And then feeling the rockers in between. And then when you start to feel that ache, that slight tiredness, doesn't mean you have to stop straight away with this one. You might get a deeper breath. We are strengthening after all a little bit, so it doesn't hurt to do just a tiny fraction more. And then bring it to stillness and really feeling the feet. Take a breath. And as you breathe out, just letting it go. Because we are doing feet, hands and face, so we're going to do a few other ones. So we'll start with the funny walk. So I'm walking here with the toes up, walking on my heels. And then walking up on the tips of the toes when that gets tiring. Tips of the toes rarely gets tiring up, it takes a long while. And then the edges, the feet, again, it's a little tiny walk. You can walk up and down the mat if you want, but I've noticed that it's a bit better on the knees if you just stay on the spot with this one, just walk on the side. And then inside, same, just on the spot. Knees in, walking on that instep, big toe end of the feet. And then bringing it all to stillness and just noticing how that feels after that. Take a breath. Sending the breath down. Like little droplets of rain, just watering the feet. And then we're going to do another exercise, which is a bit more of a mindful kind of meditative type exercise, visualization, but it really works this as well for waking up the feet. And the nice thing about this is that you can do it anywhere without looking silly. So if you bring your awareness to your big toe, the tip of your big toe, doesn't matter which side, let's say the right side. And as if you were drawing an outline, you know when we do the outline of the hand, it's similar, but we're not using the finger, we're using our mind instead. And we're going to start to draw down the inside of the big toe towards the other toe. And then up the other toe, round the tip, down the toe, around and up and around, up the toe, round the tip of the toe, and then around the little toe, down the edge of the foot, around the heel, around the instep, all the way back to where you started. And just notice we've just done that the once. So notice the difference between the 2 feet. Already, the right foot is a little bit brighter than the left. Let's do the left side. So starting at the tip of the left toe and draw as if you were drawing a line around the toe towards the other toe and up, round that first toe, down between the toes, round the second toe, between the toes, round the third toe, between the toes, round the little toe, down the edge of your foot, around the heel, across and up through the arch, all the way to the tip of the foot. You can just feel now both feet very clearly on the floor. Take a breath. And as you breathe out, really send that breath down. Feeling that floor beneath. It feels almost like the floor softened and you've sunk a little bit into it. It's so powerful. All right, we're going to do more with hands when we get to sitting down. So just for now, do your favorite one. So is it a little bit of a rub? Is it a little bit of a light touch? Is it this one that we do sometimes, the outline? Is it stretching and squeezing, stretching and squeezing? And while you do that, I'm just going to put you back on gallery view because I realise I can't see any of you. Yeah. Okay, so stretch and squeeze is my current favorite. Remember with the stretch and squeeze, it's thumb inside, thumb on top, and thumb to the side. But just refining that. There's also, if you're feeling like a squeeze rather than a stretch, sometimes it's like, oh, I really want to squeeze. Thumb in the middle and a big squeeze will also do the job. And this is nice and quick and also can be done quite hidden. You know, you don't have, nobody has to see what you're doing when you're trying to do it. And then we'll bring the hands by the sides and we take a breath. And as we breathe out, we'll feel the hands and the feet together. Okay. And I can actually feel that I've squeezed harder on one side than I have on the other. Isn't that interesting? Really obvious. Okay, so face. Again, so we can have this gentle touch. Again, you're going to pick your favorite. Can be tapping, can be stretching. We're going to do a few extra new ones. Well, they're not new, but we haven't done them for a while. In a bit for the face. But for now, just do whatever wakes that face up. So that when you stop, you can feel that jaw starting to let go. And we've got that relaxed jaw, feet, hands, and face all at the same time. Take a breath. And just feel how, as you observe them all at the same time, which might take a little while, sometimes you have to cycle through, you have to feel your feet, then your hands, then your face, and again your feet, then your hands, then your face, cycling through the three until they kind of blur into one. And as you breathe out and feel the feet, hands, and face, notice how that kind of immediately brings you into your body. How it takes so much awareness and attention, actually, that the mind has to quieten to let you feel it. And again, it takes more practice. The easier you can feel your feet, hands, and face, the better, obviously, the result. Okay, let's start with the sun salutation, and let's bring the hands into position. Notice where your feet still sinking into that mud, and now we're reaching with the hands. Feel that reach come through the arms, feel the reach come through the spine, relax the jaw as you look up and back, and open that chest as you breathe into it. Out breath, we're coming forward, bend nice and slowly. Feel the hands as they traverse through the air, almost touching. You can feel the wind between the fingers. Let the chin tucked into the back of the neck and the head can rock. And of course, this first stretch, we are going to feel it a little bit stiff. We're going to give it a bit of time. Try to relax that jaw, orangutan your arms. Have a moment to feel where your feet are, again, where your hands are, and let go of the jaw. And then breathing in, we're going to look up and flatten the back. Opening that breastbone, reaching with the spine as you breathe in. And then coming down with that reach and with that open breastbone to let the head go final time. And then we'll take a step back with one leg. We're coming into our dragon pose. So we're leaning into the dragon pose here, feeling the stretch. Now initially it can feel a bit sticky, so give it time. Pushing through the hands. So notice that the weight is coming forward into that front foot. And that you're pushing, if you can reach the floor, you're pushing with the hands slightly to relax the legs more. When you come up, ensure that the weight is still going forward into that front foot taking all the weight, and then we're going to reach with the arms and the spine. So you're breathing in. Remember, the lower body's going down, the upper body's reaching up. This one, and then we'll bring the hands to the side. Again, a little push before we move on. And the foot comes back into plank pose. In plank pose, we've got all the weight on our hands. So really important to check that the fingers are in the right position. Middle finger pointing straight ahead. The other finger's fanning out. We can feel the whole of the hand. So often all the weight is just in the heel of the hand. So push the balls of the hands in as well. Feel how there's an arch there. You push the thumb in a little bit harder on the first finger, you can feel that arch activate. Not too hard though, because if it's weak muscles, it might feel crampy. And then we're going to come down, having rested. Line up your palms, so that the reflex point in the palm of the hands is there. Place the head on for a bit of weight, and then we can start our bottom roll. Again, we're getting into a nice rhythm. Working that rhythm. Remember to relax those shoulders, to let go in the jaw. And we're just waiting for a response here. We're just looking out for that slightly deeper breath or that sigh, the tingle, whatever it is that changes. A new thing coming in is always a sign. And we bring it to stillness then to observe what's going on in the body. Observe it, we're beginning to relax. And as you do that, just have a moment again to feel the feet, hands and face. Notice how it supports the patterning that we're putting in. And let's bring the hands below the shoulders. Again, make sure that the middle finger's pointing forward. We're going to bring all the weight onto the hands again. So you want to make sure we're using the whole hand, breathing in, looking up and back. Reaching with the spine, pushing through, keeping the hands kind of stuck to the mat, literally. We're going to lean back out again. Feeling space created in the wrists and the elbows, the shoulders as we come up the back into the diaphragm area. Remember, if it feels tight, you've got the opportunity here to rock. You're using the hands a little bit, coming into a gentle, gentle rock. And then we're going to lean back in once we've done that. To feel any change. And then again, we're coming to downward dog. So downward dog, important that we line up the hands right below those hot plates in the upper body, tucking the toes under. Now, even though the hands seem to take all of the weight, we're actually trying to get some of the weight backwards in towards the feet, which obviously is difficult when the hamstrings are tight. So you can bend the knees a little bit initially and try to make sure that it's even between feet and hands. So the hands aren't taking too much weight, the feet aren't taking too much weight. It's actually equal between the two. And of course, you're reaching through the arms, you're dropping the breastbone. You might need to wiggle it a little bit as to see it if it won't move down. Relax your jaw, feel the feet, the hands and the face. Have a moment to feel how the feet, hands and face help you get a sense of the shape that you're making with your body right now. And then, whichever foot is the one that went back, it'll be that one that comes forward. Bringing it into position, ready to bring the weight onto it. So we're leaning into it, leaning forward, feeling the stretch there in the groin. The hands again, helpful to push the floor away so that you can relax more. And then once you feel that that foot is taking all the weight that it can, you can come up. Keep that weight going forwards. Keep it going forwards. And then we're reaching with the arms, with the spine, breathing in. And then as the hands come back down, another little push is helpful. Just get that extra bit of relaxation out of the groin. And then we're ready. This back leg is going to come forward. We're swinging it forward into a forward bend. Checking with the feet, just seeing, you can see them, you're going quite close to look at them, so to make sure that they're nicely lined up. So you don't have duck feet, let the head go. And grabbing hold of the elbows here, you want to do a bit more Moro. We're going to rock here. It's like a rib cage rock, only upside down. It's a little bit harder to do because of that upside downness, so we might only do it for 10 seconds. Bring it to stillness, relax the jaw, feel the feet and hands support that move. And then we're going to breathe in and look up, flattening the back. Coming down, breastbone first, and then letting go of the head, the jaw, the back of the neck. Gently uncurling. Noticing where your feet are as you come up. Feeling the feet there, and then bringing the hands into position. We're reaching up, breathing in. Opening out that chest. And then we'll bring the hands together. And drawing a line down the center of the body. And as we do this, just thinking, how easily can I feel that line? If you get to here and you're not sure it's there, then draw it again. Draw it all the way down. Sometimes it just takes that one little rub to feel it. And then we bring the hands into position the second time, going, okay, maybe now I can feel it. And just noticing too that the feet are either side of this line, that the hands are delineating the line, so they're on the line itself, and the jaw is relaxing into that line itself. Take a breath. Feet, hands and face. Feel yourself come back into the body. Feel that body. And then massage that lovely thymus gland. This is our ability to manipulate that, which we've done already with the lymphatic system. All right, lovely. So we started already with the feet. And I just want to do a couple of other a couple of stretches that we normally do with more foot awareness in it. So a little forward bend here. It doesn't matter how you come down. You can use your arms or not as you come down, because what we're going to do is we're going to look at the difference between the weight being too far on your heels. So if you lean back onto your heels, notice how that feels like for your stretch. Too forward on the balls of the feet. Come to the edge of one side and then the edge of the other. And then just bring the body right into the center. So it's neither forward nor back, nor side to side. And just notice what that does. Just see how it allows you to release a little bit more. Does something to the nervous system that it signals that utter release and letting go. That's nice. So when you feel ready, we can uncurl a little bit, coming back up nice and slowly. And then we're going to bring the legs wide. So in triangle pose, you see a lot of leaning. So you'll be, you see people sort of leaning forwards or even leaning back. So it's a really good one to test this in. So bring yourself into a triangle pose that feels comfortable. Remember, this is meant to be an equilateral triangle. That means that the distance between your legs is roughly the same as the length of one of your legs. And sometimes we do it too big, sometimes we do it too strong. If you can't reach the floor, I suggest you have a block or a cushion or something so that you can stay for a little bit longer. It can be anything, a little stool will do as well. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing that we did before, but more with the rocking backwards and forwards and side to side. So we're just going to come forwards onto the balls of the feet and just feel how that feels. And then back onto the heels. Feel how that feels. And then into the middle, neither. And just see how that allows you to have a better stretch all through the body. Even the spine releases better. The jaw relaxes a bit more.
And because this is a little bit of a tricky pose for some of us as well, it can feel a bit unsafe. Use what you know, feet, hands, face. Keep it safe. Now, when you do want to come out of this, the easiest way is to heel toe your feet. Heel toe them back into a forward bend position. Then bend the knees. Feel the feet push up as you do. Nice and slow. Find your feet again. And just stand. And as you stand again, every time, what we want to do is the nervous system to do this automatically, which it will the more you practice. Here I am, feet, hands and face. 4, back into my body. Lovely. Okay, let's come to sitting. So if you want to, maybe I will switch the spotlight now. That's a good idea. Let's see. No, actually I've spotlighted them both, so I can't do that. All right, so we can keep the feet together as a way of keeping them active. And remember, you know, if you're finding it difficult to feel your feet when standing, you can always give them a nice rub. And in particular, if you're in a bit of a hurry, you can press this in this point here and give that a really good press as a way of keeping those little suns, as I like to call them, awake there, and for them to shine their heat into each other when the feet come together. And then we can bring our awareness to the hands. So again, we need to, one of the things that I really advocate for is if you've been doing one thing for a really long time, sorry, obscuring my view, if you've been doing one thing for a really long time, to switch it up a little bit. So if you've always gone for the stretch and squeeze, stretch and squeeze, stretch and squeeze, for example, go for something else. Go for the outlining, go for the light touch. But what I want to show today is a new one that I've been working on, which I really, really like. And it seems to really wake my hands up. You might not like it as much. I'll come a bit closer so you can see. So I bring my hands together like that. And I pretend that this hand is flat, like a board or something. And I play the piano onto it. Like this, and I'm just tapping the tips of my fingers primarily to begin with, and then I'm tapping the whole of the fingers as well. And I don't know, it just does something that when I stop, I can really feel the difference between the two hands. Can't tell you exactly what that difference is, but they are different. And then I'll try to do it on the other, and this is where the brain really has to work, right? So if you're right-handed, that would have been easy. If you're now on your left hand, it's like, oh my goodness, I can't do that quite as smoothly. And I have to really connect into my fingertips and wake up that. Okay, and then we'll bring that to stillness. Take a breath. And all the time, the palms of the hands are getting warmer. Notice that. And then if you want, you can do the two together, which of course is actually easiest. And just notice, are you just doing the fingers or have you remembered to do the thumb? Because that can also be missing from the equation. And that's just really nice. Again, it's another one that you can just sort of do with your hands tucked underneath the table or something. And then when you stop, just bring your hands to your lap and see if that's worked for you. Has it woken up your hands in a slightly different way than normal? Now, of course, you can take this principle for the whole of the hand. So you can then bring the tips of the fingers and do the same thing on the palm. And of course, you want to move down the palm as you do that. So this is like tapping for the hand in a way. And then the other side. Now, if tapping isn't for you, and I know some people tapping, doesn't do much, then you just pick something that works. That's fine. We're just learning this new one, just tapping all down the hand and not forgetting the thumb. And then again, just bring the hands to your lap and see how that feels. Take a breath. Now, in terms of tapping technique, there are 2 points if you've ever done EFT, which is really important. And we're going to do those anyway. This is at the side of the hand here to tap, tap, tap that. And when they tap, they don't use the fingers like piano, they use all fingers to tap it. And the other one is here, between the thumb and the first finger. Oh, I think this has dropped out. Lovely. So then we can tap the edge of the hand on both sides and here. And so that's tapping for the hands. It's a really nice technique. Again, if you're sitting on a train or something, you can use that underneath the table. And again, as you close your eyes, just see how it feels. So just taking a breath. And as you breathe out, other hands away. Lovely. And just because we need to, just feel your feet as well. Wherever they are right now, whatever they're doing, can you tap into your feet too? And then we're going to do a similar practice that we did with the feet, but with the hands. So we're going to come onto hands and knees. And we're just going to, again, rock forwards and back across the hands. And side to side. And you can even go around. It's a little bit easier with the hands to do a whole round. And just thinking about where the center of that circle is. And if you do the round, then go in both directions. And then coming to center right over the hands. And just line up those hands then with the hot plate. And just see how all the strain of having weight on your hands seems to melt away. And then we can start to do a bit of cat and cow. So we're going to keep the hands exactly where they are and push through them. Now, when we do this as a reflex, we do shift the weight, but we're doing this as cat and cow now and more as a yoga pose than a reflex, especially just to begin with. Just to practice that awareness, because in order to keep the hands still and the weight in the same place, we do have to really focus. Making sure that you're looking up, reaching, and making sure that you're tucking the core in as you come to see. Lovely. Let's bring the spine to neutral. We're going to do more, but this time we are going to shift the weight. So you're going to pull with the hands. Notice as soon as you pull, the body can't help but try and go into that S shape and reach. And then as you push back, it can't help but tuck into that C. So this is a little bit of a deeper stretch as well. Pull, reach. Push, core, tuck. So a few more. Getting that spine to flow. So you kind of know when you've done enough of cat and cow pose, or this reflex pose, when the spine starts to feel smooth. Again, when you finish, bring everything to stillness right over the hands and feel that connection between the hand and that hot plate. And just because we're here, why not tuck the toes under and have a little go with our downward dog as well. To feel how with the downward dog now, more than before perhaps, we can actually try and distribute the weight a bit more evenly. So even if you can't get your heels on the floor, and they do make these little wedges for yoga where you can put them underneath your feet so that you can actually feel the ground. It's more about that rooting, grounding feeling than actually the stretch. when you're using a wedge like that. But here we are, we're reaching, but at the same time, the ankles, the heels are dropping, but we're not totally surrendering into the earth, although we're relaxing into it. There is a kind of an upward pull, which is the core, right? So remember when we talked about the core before, like a tree, the bark descending the toxins into the earth, and the core drawing up the nutrients through the center of the body. That's what's happening in the legs. And the hands are pushing and keeping things even between front and back. Now, when your arms get tired, by all means, drop down onto your knees. By now, the hands are going to be knackered, so they're going to really appreciate coming the other way up and resting by the feet. And as you feel into your feet, your hands, and let the jaw go. Again, seeing if we can experience this feeling of embodiment as we're aware of feet, hands, and face at the same time. We start to feel the whole body. You can feel how the breath moves it. You can feel feet, hands, and face, and all the corresponding sensations around the rest of the body, all at once. Just enjoying that for as long as we need to. And then we're going to come and do face. So with the face, again, we're going to try and switch it up and do something that we haven't done for a while, at least. So we have, or at least I have, a few teaching go-tos with, things like the ah, ooh, and the tongue one, and the stroking, and the tapping. Those are the ones that we do all the time. Yeah, and we all have our favourite those. But again, I want to show you a couple of new ones. Not so new, but different. So we're going to have the hand here at the back of the head. And then we're going to use this hand, and we're going to literally push the jaw into the other hand. This is an isometric one. It's quite powerful. So you push, 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 push for a count of 3, and then you let go, and we do it 3 times. Push, 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 push for a count of 3, and then we let go. And then when we let go that final time, maybe close your eyes and just feel the effects of that on the jaw, on the throat and the neck. So that's one way. It's quite a good, quick way of doing it. And I suppose if you were sat on a train, it wouldn't look too weird. But there's a couple of other pushy ones. So this is more in the realms of acupressure, but also does a really good job of integrating. Okay, so we'll start with the center. There's an acupressure point here, and there's an acupressure point here. So you can either have one finger on top or use the same hand. It's up to you. And we're just going to press. Now, if you've ever wondered, like, where are these acupressure points, it's where it hurts. Okay, so if there's a slight little ache, then you know you've got the right, and you want to press. So when I learned this many years ago, when I learned Qigong, my teacher said, when you feel a pulsing underneath your fingertips, that's when it's done. But sometimes fingertips are just not sensitive enough. They don't feel anything. So you'd say 5 seconds. Okay, then we're going to start to move out. So we're going to trace the line of our jawbone until we feel the next set of sore points around about here. And then again, we continue up through the jaw. It's a lot further up, this next one. You might need to get a bit of fatty tissue out of the way. sort of about there, halfway or 3/4 of the way up. And then the final one is right inside. And it's kind of underneath the cheek bone, between the jaw and the cheek. And then we'll continue up across the cheek. Now the next one is at the tip of the cheekbone itself. Again, you know it's there because it's sore. There's loads of them on the face. Final one is more towards the nose. So if you draw a line from the edge of your nose down, you'll find it there. And again, just feel how when we stop, the whole mouth is awake. Oh. And it really wants to let go. And at that letting go, there's a corresponding letting go. Remember, the reflex points is right inside. It's in the back of the throat and neck. So though the mouth is all releasing, there's a corresponding release there in the back of the neck. And now bring in your hands and feet as well. So just for a moment, close your eyes, take a breath, feel the feet, hands and face. And just feel that depth of release. And becoming familiar with the feeling that's coming in the body as we embody more and feel the body. And what's nice to remember about this practice is that you can do it safely. So, your body's let you down, if you've been ill and, or you've had an accident and the body's let you down somehow, we can start to feel really unsafe in our bodies. So this is a really nice way to embody with safety. Okay, we're going to come back to downward dog. So I just want to show you the effect of a release in the mouth in a pose. So if we bring the hands once again beneath our lower two hot plates and we tuck the toes under and we bring ourselves just briefly, it won't take long, back into a downward dog, and once again experience the evenness between front and back. And then we're going to relax the jaw fully, feeling all those points we've just pressed, feeling the letting go in the neck and jaw and throat. And almost as soon as you do that, and we have done this as a class before, there's a whole spinal response. And just staying for as long as your arms will let you, as long as you want to work with that sort of practice and releasing the jaw. And then we're going to come back to that child pose for a nice rest here. And just to compare the difference between this child pose and the one we just did before we did the mouth. Okay, so time to play a little bit of catch up. A couple of things that we haven't done so far. One of those is our twist and a sideward bend. So let's just do a simple twist and a sideward bend. We're going to bring to opposite hand, opposite knee, and the hand behind. And as we rotate, we want to start to sort of feel the spine obviously doing its ringing out thing, but we also want to work on what the feet are feeling, what the hands are feeling. And in particular, as it gets a bit more intense, keeping that jaw relaxed. Now, if like me, you're thinking, oh, I really wish we'd done some more, my diaphragm's really tight today, there is an opportunity here. You can do a mini little rock. And as soon as the diaphragm releases, continue your stretch.
And again, feel into the feet, the hands, the face. And as you do that, feel the shape of your body that you're making. Really embody that sense of what am I actually feeling here? Not just in one place, but in everywhere. And take your own time with that. When you feel ready to move, it's exactly the same on the other side. And don't forget, if you did do a wiggle on one side, that you need to do a wiggle on both sides. Otherwise it won't be even. Okay, so this part of the class, when we do this catch up, this is where we kind of look at what our body is missing. So, you know, I'm very Moro, so for me, it's all in the diaphragm. You might find that it's your neck, although that jaw stuff that we did will really help with that. Or your shoulders, you might want to have a shoulder stretch. You know, whatever it is you feel you need. Now, the basics that we're covering are the sort of the 5 movements of the body. So forward bend, backward bend. We're going to do some backward bending in a minute, and twists and sideward bends are the minimum 5. So for this sideward bend, we're just going to reach over with the hand, and if you can, sort of rest yourself and relax your legs. Remember to drop the psoas. That might need a bit of a helping hand with your hand here, and then reaching. And again, if that diaphragm is really tight, you can really feel it. It's no harm in just giving it a tiny, tiny bit of a rock. Just 5 seconds, and then seeing the effects, and then reaching through. Relax the jaw, feel your feet, hands and face again. What shape are you making? Can you draw that shape? If you close your eyes and you're not looking, can you draw that shape in your mind's eye, starting at the feet, up through the legs? Starting with the hands up through the arms, starting with the neck and jaw down through the spine. Like I said, lots of different ways of embodying these techniques, and your body will have its favorite, easier way. So as you lean over again, just feeling that psoas. First, making sure that's letting go. So this side's having a bit of difficulty. I've got to give it a bit more time. But you might already be there with the arm. Then if you did a rock the last time, you might want to do a tiny one again this side. Breathing, reaching. Okay, well done everyone. So we need to do one final back bend, and then we are done. So we're going to do a nice easy one. Again, we're on hands and knees. The hands actually for this one are a little bit further away. And then, you know, we start off with the weight in the heel of the hand. And then we're going to lean forwards. And as we lean forwards, we're going to have the hands take their weight evenly as we drop the pelvis. Look up, open the chest, breathing in, relax the jaw, reach with the spine, S shape. And then when you're ready to come out, again, we're coming back to child pose. So legs up, and you can have a little puppy stretch if you want. On your way down, no harm. But finally, releasing the arms by your feet. Having that moment to feel. Feet, hands and face again. How does it feel this time?
And each time I'm finding it easier to stay present for in my body and for longer. I'm not jumping out. All right, we're going to come to lying down, ready to do our finishing sequence. So we've got feet on the floor. Again, because we've done the jaw, you might want to rock the neck a little bit. Those of you that know that the neck rock, it's really good here before you start your bridge. It allows the shoulders to relax a little bit more and the arms to orangutan the jaw. Let's go. Lining up your feet with your lower two hot plates, and then we're going to lift up. Feeling the weight on those feet even. So if you're too far back on your heels, that means that the feet aren't in the right place. They need to be nearer. And if you're too far on the balls of the feet, unlikely, but if you are, then the feet are too far back. So you're going to push evenly through the feet. Tuck the chin in. Feel the hands there by your sides. Relax the jaw. Again, in your mind's eye, if you were drawing what you're doing, if you're drawing your body from your feet, through the legs, through the hands, to the arms, through the jaw, through the spine. And as you, when you want to come down and you lift the arms up and over, if you're going to do this one that you know is one of my favorites, feeling those hands traveling through the air. Keeping with them as they come to land wherever they're going to land, up and over. As you reach with the hands, roll down. Again, you can be aware of the feet, hands, and face. This is quite a strong stretch. So keep it safe. Reaching, feet, hands, and face. Rocking out any tension you can feel in the diaphragm area as you roll down. Still with feet, hands, and face. And letting the pelvis drop down to the earth. Releasing the arms. And as we bring the hands by our sides, again, just have a moment for feet, hands, and face before you move on. And then you can bring the hands into your T shape, again, with a real sense of your body. Then we're going to push that leg over. So we've got the foot on the knee. We can feel the touch of the foot on the material of our leggings or whatever we're wearing. And then let the legs drop over. And as the head rolls, relax the jaw. Feel where the hands are, feel where the feet are, relax the jaw a little bit more. If you want to use your hand on that knee, of course you can. And again, if you're wishing for a bit of more input, you can use that hand to rock slightly. Rocking slightly that rib cage. Yeah, when you get a response, bringing it to stillness, breathing and stretching. And be aware of your feet, your hands and your face. Now, as you know, you've got two sides to do, so take your own time. It's exactly the same that goes on the knee. And you're aware as you move, the body shape that you're making, even as you move. The dancers out there, you know what I mean. Keeping that awareness as you're moving is that's the next step, really. Once you land in the pose, just checking, do you need to rock a little bit? And then tuning into those feet, hands and face again. Feeling that body, drawing the shape of it with your mind's eye from the feet through the legs and the hands, through the arms, the spine. And as always, our final pose as we come around. The hands going to be sat on. That's definitely going to wake them up. As you stretch out the legs, you're rubbing your feet down the mat and feeling that touch. Tucking the elbows in, you're going to push through the top two hop plates and relax the jaw. Lovely little fish pose. There's an extension each in-breath, you're in S shape. A lengthening of the spine each time. And when you decide to roll back in, the head goes first, relax that jaw. As the hands come out, feel the hands and your final awareness into the feet. So we've got feet, hands and face. And as promised, a little bit of FPR. This is more what we're going to do next week, but if we just have a little rock here, using the feet. Now remember that there's the knees up rock as well, where you use the hands more. You might prefer that. You might want to change it up. You're always doing feet on the floor. Try knees up for a change. Nervous system loves new input. Either way, whatever you've decided to do, whichever of the two, you've done a lot today, the nervous system will be quite actually very stable because feet, hands and face is very stable. So you might even finish up rocking the full 2 minutes because the response comes a lot later. Or if feet, hands and face is something that your body's still learning, it might actually really notice it because it's become more sensitive that you can feel more. Whichever it is, when it comes to stillness and you stop, you're going to feel all of these sensations and see now if you can also be aware of your feet, hands and face as everything else is going on. And just notice how powerful that is for bringing in that sense of relaxation. And so hopefully your warm stuff isn't too far away. You don't have to get up to drag it over. Unbelievable that we have to wear jumpers in the middle of July. Here you go. Now, hopefully it feels quite easy to slip into that relaxed state, because our awareness is what stimulates the relaxation anyway. So just feeling the soles of the feet and imagining that as you feel into the soles of the feet, that sensation, whatever it is, it's warm or tingling, covering the whole of the toes and the top of the foot and the ankle. Beginning to work its way up through the calves and the shins and the knees, through the thighs, all the way up into the hips and the lower back hop plate. Feeling how, as you did that, the whole of the legs relax down into it a little bit more. Noticing the palms of the hands, how alive they are, and the fingers and the fingertips and the backs of the hands, the wrists. Let that awareness travel up through the lower arms and elbows and upper arms and shoulders, all the way to those top two. Completely supporting the arms of making orangutan and let go. Bringing our awareness into the jaw and mouth. Remembering where we press, those acupressure points. Where we push that jaw into the skull a little bit and then let go. Or if that's too difficult because it's too new, pick something that you normally do, maybe a stroke or a tap. In your mind's eye, just imagining that you're doing it. And then feeling that release spread across the face, around the eyes and the brow, and the top of the head and the back of the head, the back of the neck and throat, through the shoulders, down the spine and chest, down into the lower back and pelvis and into the belly. So the whole body feels as if it's softening. Starting at these points, the feet, the hands and the face. And as you breathe in, you can feel the breath travel through the body like a starfish extending into the feet and the hands and the face. As you breathe in, and as you breathe out, the awareness coming back to center for the feet, hands and face, centering that center line. Breathing in, expanding out. To the feet, hands and face, the awareness through the whole body, as if you were filling yourself up like a balloon. Feet, the hands and the face, the very end of that filling. And then as you breathe out, the balloon deflates back to the center. Into a couple more breaths. And then we're going to let this go and just feel both at the same time, both that sense of expansion and the sense of release into the floor happening simultaneously. And you deeply relax. Every now and again, feeling into the feet, hands and feet. So as always, the advantage is to stay, relax for as long as you need to. It's allowing yourself the time that you need, the care that you need. And see you all next week. Take care. Bye bye.